All right, we want to chat a little bit about Women's Super League before we close out this episode. I told you we're taking a little trip around the globe, and of course, we're going to end it in good old England. Let's talk a little bit about the Conti Cup, the FA Continental Tires Cup.
Oh,
Arsenal,
fun name.
Arsenal, the winners in this one, 3-1 victory over Chelsea. They just the Gunners have the Blues number when it comes to the Conti Cup. It almost looked and felt like maybe that wasn't going to be the case, though. Listen, Sam Kerr got things started very early in this game against Arsenal. We're talking the opening 2 minutes. Who else but Giro Wrighton with the service into the box? Sam Kerr there to put it away. And it just looked like they were going to run away with this. But I loved that Arsenal was like, not today. Like, no way. This is not going to happen. They sort of they put their heads down and they kind of went toe to toe a little bit. It just sort of looked like there was going to be a lot of running around and there was. We saw the legs moving hard out there, but Arsenal with the equalizer in the 16th minute from Blackstenius, Kim Little with the conversion in the 24th minute, and at that point you're like 2-1. Just get into the locker room, maybe reset, but it got a little worse before
Word.
you
Yeah.
before Chelsea could kind of regroup. There was a tactical shift to try to by Emma Hayes to try to maybe combat some of this stuff. Didn't work, and an own goal, unfortunately, to close out this first half for Arsenal, and it's 3-1, and that's how it remained throughout the duration of this match. And yeah, good on Arsenal lifting the cup once more.
Massive, massive. I mean, it's their first trophy in 4 years for Arsenal, but for Chelsea, the fact that it does, I love that you just ran through like kind of the breakdown of the game, because it was Chelsea fans were sitting high and mighty the first 2 minutes of the game. They're like, all right, Sam Kerr, this is easy. Just run it back, another one. But before you know it, Arsenal responds, put pressure on. Fantastic. And then, I mean, to go into the locker room down 3-1 after you scored the opening goal is pretty rough for Chelsea. But they persevere throughout the second half. They don't give up anymore, and then it does end 3-1. It was a very fun game to watch. Beth Mead putting it out there on Twitter. The girls doing "You Proud Mama" Conti champs. I love this. The picture out there, if you're joining us live on YouTube, it's very cool. We've got a graphic up of Beth Meads' tweet and the little image there. I mean, this was so fun. This was fun. There's no VAR through it. So there was a little bit of some questionable calls happening, but no possibility of a review as it went down. But overall, Arsenal make the breakthrough. They crack through early and hard and fast, and then just stick it to Chelsea in the Conti Cup.
In front of a great crowd too. Love the Crystal Palace, and just taking a look at sights and sounds from there was very, very cool.
Wow.
And it also just sort of like yeah, record breaking for sure. Just sort of like seeing like this adjacent to the actual FA Women's Super League, just sort of how the game sort of taking place before the weekend prior to the Conti Cup, and now we've got a couple games that are coming up this upcoming week as well. But the standings when it comes to Women's Super League have shifted a little bit. Last time we chatted about teams and their place on the table. Man United at number 1 right now, Man City at number 2, Chelsea at number 3, and Arsenal at number 4. So taking a look at maybe the top 4 teams and how things can shift around. Chelsea, though, and Arsenal with a couple of games still under their belt to try to, get level here. But between these top 4 teams, 14 games played for both Man City and Man United, and Chelsea and Arsenal with 2. So we had said in the last time we chatted about the standings, Lisa, we had said that this top 4 might shift a little bit more before this regular season is out. But I love that it's so close right now.
So close. That's the coolest thing, right? 35 points for Man United, City's got 32, Chelsea 31, Arsenal 26. And as you mentioned, 2 game days or 2 match days for Chelsea and Arsenal that they're behind at this point. But when you look at the Conti Cup, I like that we started with that and then we moved right into the standings for the Super League, because Arsenal won the Conti Cup in 2018, and then they went on to win the league the following season. So is this a little bit fortuitous for this Arsenal side? They just won Conti.
Right.
They're sitting in the standings right now, number 4, 26 points, but they've got a couple game days to still make up at this point. Are we going to see the tides turn a little bit?
I hope so.
Look, I love it. I like the competition for these top 4 teams. It's so tight.
I love a long season that needs to come down to the wire on a final match weekend. I mean, that when we have talked about Women's Super League in the past, it's been reflective of the more recent seasons and how things have tended to come down to the final sort of match weekends for some of these teams. And kind of just feels like it's rearing its season to end in a similar fashion. Now, which of those teams are going to be the 2 teams or 3 teams that are vying for that actual title? That's, I think, is still up in the air. Yeah. But I love that it's this close. And, I love that there's so many players that you can point out and sort of tie to these respective clubs that are just doing so many good things to keep their team in contention. Bunny Shaw still leading the way in this sort of golden boot race, 13 goals with Manchester City, coming off a hat trick. Like just wild things for Shaw. You love to see it. Shout out to the Reggae Girls, CONCACAF supremacy in full action. You love to see it. Rachel Daly with 10 goals right behind Shaw. But yeah, I mean, mentioned Girl Wrighton during the Conti Cup recap there, but leading the league right now and in assists with 9. Love that. I think she's been an essential piece for Chelsea this season. But yeah, been an exciting time. Every time we peek in on Women's Super League, it's been closer than anticipated. And while it might, still come down to sort of those typical 4 teams that I think we've chatted around over the last few seasons, it's still exciting to sort of see it.
Yeah, I mean, and the personnel too, right? As you mentioned, Bunny Shaw getting a hat trick this weekend, leading the Golden Boot race. Like it's so fun. The talent in this league is so fun, especially when you get some of those top teams going up against each other in matches that are upcoming. That's what's pretty fun. We got match day 14, 15 coming up for some of these teams in the next couple of days, Wednesday of this week, and then this weekend a couple more matches for everyone. But it's good. I mean, lots to play for, lots on the line.
Make sure you tune in to Paramount Plus, and you can find Barclay Women's Super League on Paramount Plus, and you could take a look at the schedule in front of you and say, hey, this is the game that I want to watch, because you can watch them on Paramount Plus and across CBS Sports Network. So make sure you tune in.
You can't watch NWSL yet. You can't watch 99% of these preseason games. So watch some Super League.
Watch the Super League. That's it for today.